Would you welcome, please, Phil Lynott? Here he is.
Oh, look at that. All showbiz and snaz. Do sit down. Yeah.
Great to see you.
Well, it's where the big knobs hang out, don't you know that guy?
Throughout rock and roll history, few names stand out as much as Thin Lizzy's magnetic frontman, Phil Lynott. His voice, his lyrics, and his undeniable stage presence made him a legend in his own time. But behind the bright lights and roaring crowds, Lynott harbored a secret that would only come to light years after his tragic and untimely death. This is the story of a son and father separated by circumstance and fate. Join us as we explore the heartbreaking tale of Phil Lynott and the son he never knew. Lynott's early years and rise to fame. Born in West Bromwich, England, on August 20th, 1949, Philip Paris Lynott was the product of an unconventional union between an Irish mother, Philomena, and a Guyanese father, Cecil Paris. Philomena, a young nurse at the time, found herself grappling with the challenges of single motherhood in an era that frowned upon interracial relationships. Faced with limited options, she made the difficult decision to entrust her infant son to the care of her parents in Dublin. Growing up as a mixed-race child in 1950s Ireland, young Phil often found himself grappling with questions of identity and belonging. In a predominantly white society, he stood out, his distinctive features a testament to his exotic heritage. Yet, despite the occasional taunts and sideways glances, Lynott discovered solace and purpose in the world of music. He gravitated towards the guitar, finding in its strings a means of self-expression and escape. As he navigated his teenage years, Lynott's musical ambitions began to take shape. He joined forces with schoolmate Brian Downey, a talented drummer, and together they laid the foundation for what would become one of Ireland's most iconic rock bands, Thin Lizzy. With the addition of guitarist Eric Bell, the trio set out to conquer the Dublin music scene, honing their skills in smoky pubs and crowded clubs. Thin Lizzy's early years were marked by a series of false starts and near misses. Their debut album, released in 1971, failed to make significant waves. But Lynott's songwriting prowess and charismatic stage presence hinted at greater things to come. It was with their sixth studio album, Jailbreak, released in 1976, that the band finally achieved international acclaim. The album's lead single, The Boys Are Back in Town, became an instant classic, its driving riffs and anthemic chorus propelling Thin Lizzy to the forefront of the rock world. As the band's fame grew, so too did Lynott's reputation as a magnetic frontman and a gifted songwriter. His lyrics, often infused with themes of rebellion, romance, and Irish folklore, resonated with audiences worldwide. Thin Lizzy embarked on a series of sold-out tours, playing to adoring crowds across Europe and the U.S.
Yeah. Well, here we are a year later, back in the charts,
right.
Back in Australia.
Yeah, but I mean,
And the future looks really bright for us.
Lynott, with his trademark afro and bass guitar slung low, became an icon, his onstage swagger and effortless cool becoming the essence of rock stardom. The Secret Son. As Thin Lizzy's star ascended in the 1970s, Phil Lynott's personal life took a turn that would remain shrouded in secrecy for decades. In the midst of the band's hectic touring schedule and recording sessions, Lynott found himself drawn to a young woman named Carole Stephen. Their brief encounter, fueled by the passion and recklessness of youth, would forever alter the course of their lives. Carole, a mere 17 years old at the time, discovered she was pregnant with Lynott's child. Faced with the social stigma and financial hardship of single motherhood, she made the heart-wrenching decision to conceal her condition from the public eye. With the support of her family, Carole was sent to a home for unmarried mothers in Westmeath, Ireland, where she spent the final months of her pregnancy in relative seclusion. On August 17, 1968, Carole gave birth to a baby boy, whom she named Dara Lamb, though he would become known as Dara. Despite the overwhelming love she felt for her newborn son, Carole knew she was ill-equipped to raise him on her own. In an act of selfless devotion, she made the difficult choice to place Dara for adoption, hoping to provide him with a stable and nurturing home. Lynott, upon learning of Carole's pregnancy, had expressed a desire to marry her and raise the child together. But Carole, perhaps sensing the instability of Lynott's rock star lifestyle, declined the proposal. The two gradually drifted apart, their brief union forever memorialized in the existence of their son. As Dara grew up in his adoptive family, he remained oblivious to his true parentage. A fan of Thin Lizzy's music, he had no inkling that the charismatic frontman he admired was, in fact, his biological father. Lynott, too, rarely spoke of his secret son, choosing to keep this aspect of his life hidden from the public eye, and even those closest to him.
Some people can dabble around for years, and then it catches them. And they could, maybe they're fooling themselves, maybe they're not. But there is a different ratio for different people. I know people that when they come off heroin, they become alcoholics. When they go from alcoholics, they go on to another drug. Some dependency. I know people that use Narcotics Anonymous.
Lynott's tragic final years. As the 1980s dawned, Lynott found himself grappling with the harsh realities of a changing music landscape. Thin Lizzy, once a tour de force, began to lose its footing. Lynott, the band's creative visionary and driving force, felt the weight of this shift acutely. His own personal struggles with addiction and self-doubt amplifying the sense of uncertainty that loomed over the group. As Thin Lizzy disbanded in 1983, Lynott found himself adrift, struggling to find his place in a world that had moved on without him. He embarked on a series of solo projects, desperate to recapture the magic that had once made him a rock and roll icon. But commercial success eluded him, his new material failing to connect with audiences in the same way his Thin Lizzy output had. His battle with addiction intensified, his reliance on drugs and alcohol becoming increasingly pronounced. Attempts at rehab and intervention were met with resistance. Lynott's stubborn pride and fear of confronting his own mortality prevented him from seeking the help he so desperately needed. It was on Christmas Day, 1985, that the full extent of Lynott's decline became tragically apparent. Found collapsed in his home, he was rushed to the hospital, his body racked by the effect of years of self-neglect. For 11 days he clung to life, his once indomitable spirit struggling against the ravages of multiple organ failure and septicemia. On January 4th, 1986, at age 36, Phil Lynott passed away.
Well, in our case, to lose Phil Lynott, I mean that's a huge chunk out of your whole thing there. I mean, Phil was, he was an iconic figure, and I mean it hurt really bad. I mean, it almost felt like there was no way back, because not only has the singer and bass player died, but my friend wasn't there any longer, and this was a guy that I'd only played those songs with, right?
The aftermath and a son's discovery. The world mourned the loss of a true rock and roll icon. But amidst the outpouring of grief and adulation, a sad realization began to take hold. Lynott had died without ever having the chance to meet his only son, Dara. For Dara, the years following his father's death were marked by a profound sense of loss and a gnawing desire to understand his own identity. It was in 2001, 15 years after Lynott's demise, that Dara finally found the courage to embark on a journey of self-discovery. With the support of his adoptive family, he began to delve into the circumstances of his birth, piecing together the fragmented details of his past. Slowly but surely, the truth emerged. He was the son of Phil Lynott. The revelation was exhilarating and heartbreaking. On one hand, he felt a deep sense of pride and connection to his biological father, but at the same time, he grappled with the profound sadness of knowing that he would never have the chance to meet Lynott face to face. In the years that followed, Dara sought to connect with his father's legacy any way he could. He reached out to his grandmother, Philomena Lynott, who welcomed him with open arms. Through her, Dara gained a deeper understanding of the man behind the music. Now it's time to hear from you. How might Phil Lynott's life and career have been different if he had been able to overcome his addiction and meet his son? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below.